What the hell are you guys all dressed up for?
We're the good old boys.
You're the good old boys.
Just a good old boy, never meaning no harm. Beats all you never saw, been in trouble with the law since the day they was born. Straightening the curves, flattening the hills. Someday the mountain might get them, but the law never will. Making their way the only way they know how. That's just a little bit more than the law will allow. Just a good old boy, wouldn't change if they could. Fighting the system like a true modern day Robin Hood.
Matthew holds leadership positions in 3 nonprofit government watchdog organizations today. You can find him on Twitter at US Marshal 77. Matthew?
Thank you very much, and it's good to be here, and thank you for the introduction, Kat. And I agree wholeheartedly with my 2 colleagues here, Steve and Jonathan, things that have been presented here, but I present a law enforcement perspective that also, just to augment and add to that, some of the things that I've observed. And one of the things, as you heard when you said, that for me to win a lawsuit even against the Justice Department, says that there were improprieties, a lot of things going on wrong on the inside. But one thing I always remembered, when I came out of the academy and I arrived at my duty station here in Washington, D.C., I remember the manager telling me, says, Fogg, look, because I was this young recruit, all excited, had all of this training, point, shoot, when to shoot, how to use the First and Fourth Amendment rights, what your rights were, how to implement the law, so to speak, and was really excited about it. And first thing he said to me was, Fogg, I know you guys learned all that stuff at the academy and all that. He says, listen, but this is how we do it here. And I always remember him saying that to you. This is how we do it here. And what I'm going to say to you about this is when we look at the body cameras and we say what types of solutions we can come up with to help us to maybe understand police better and maybe get a better understanding of the situation, we have to understand, when I'm on that street as a law enforcement officer, I have a lot of discretion, and I have a network behind me that's going to back me up. Sometimes we call it the good old boy network, whatever you want to call it. But it includes police officers, includes prosecutors, includes judges. It's a whole network, and even those when we hit the grand jury. I remember when I sat on the grand jury, and I remember that close relationship that the U.S. attorneys had with the grand jurors, talking to them every day, communicating, laughing, joking together, coming together. So that right there had a major influence on those cases that they even brought before the grand jury, whether they're going to get indictments in that. What I'm saying to you is there's a network here that we're talking about. How do we build and how do we get into that network? Now, being a member of Law Enforcement Against Prohibition, LEAP is a powerful organization because we nationally, across the whole country, we send a message out. The war on drugs is bad policy. But not only is it bad policy, and not only does it cost the country a lot of money, it's probably one of the most racist policies that has been instituted since slavery. And that's pretty powerful. But when you begin to look at the disparities in the numbers from the ACLU reports, I was a member of Amnesty International. We did a racial profiling report that indicated more people have been profiled since 9/11 than the population of Canada. I mean, I've seen so many reports that shows the disparities aren't close. They're so widespread that when we look and we see what happened in Ferguson, when we see what happened in New York, the chokehold, we're seeing this stuff now right on television. We saw this man be choked to death while he was saying, I can't breathe, and he was ultimately killed. We saw Rodney King get hit how many times with a stick? Watching this right on television. Everybody's saying, that is awful, that is crazy. But what happens? The officers don't get convicted. Because what happens is that network behind you says, this is how we do it here. So what I'm trying to say is this. Yes, body cameras are good. But it really, we don't know, to be honest with you, when all that information has gone back, and when you're sitting in front of a jury, and that officer is allowed to go back and rethink everything, because if you know the law is different when officers involved, they don't have to give a statement right away. There are all the protections that they have, and once they get back, people are telling them, I know, I've been involved in shootings. I know what they say. Look, you want to change this. You don't want to say this. You want to be careful how you put this forward. All of this is real, ladies and gentlemen. And what I'm saying to you is once that begins to happen, you take a year or 2 years for a trial to come up, that jury is sitting there and that jury is hearing the officer saying, oh, well, I thought he had a gun and I was threat for my life. And I remember one of my partners was killed 6 months ago, or so-and-so was killed. So I felt a threat when he turned around and he looked at me with his hands up saying, don't shoot. I still felt a threat. And you're going to get people that are going to sit on that jury and is going to listen and say, you know what? I wasn't out there, and I know police officers have a lot that they got to go through every day. And so therefore, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. What I'm simply saying here is there is a lot in law enforcement that is wrong, but we need protection. I dare say to you this, when I won my case, everybody said to me first, Fogg, don't take on the Justice Department. Don't go forward. You know what happens to cops when they blow the whistle and they speak out. Your career will be destroyed, and not only that, but they will probably kill you or set you up in a stake. And believe it or not, that happened. My backup actually left me in a stakeout. My black partner, who also raised a discrimination complaint about the internal improprieties, wound up dead. Somebody ran his car off the road. They don't know who killed Bill Scott to this day. The white marshal that spoke up, he lost his job. He went to Congress and testified how they gave him a black rubber rat. He's holding that up before Congress. That's what they gave him in the squad bay. So what I'm saying to you is we've got these situations out here that we're looking at that are going on in Ferguson and down in Sanford, Florida. And mainly because, like I said, now it is an issue with the cameras and so forth. But this stuff has been going on, ladies and gentlemen, forever. It has been out there, trust me. With my 32 years of law enforcement, I saw a lot of questionable incidents that I had to tell officers right then and there, you're not going to do that in front of me right here.
The DeSoto County NAACP calling for an investigation into DeSoto County Sheriff Bill Rasco and how his department interacts with people of color. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm Katina Rankin.
I'm Richard Ransom. It comes after the sheriff admitted he helped the 18-year-old son of a longtime Sheriff's Department employee avoid jail and prosecution, despite being arrested for driving drunk. Rasco told Local 24 News he was trying to help the man out.
I just helped the young man get out of jail and not be prosecuted, did.
But does the sheriff look out for every DUI suspect the same way? Here's Local 24 News reporter Jenny DePrizio.
I've seen enough that this warrants an investigation, because it's a good old boy system. You might as well just call it what it is. And African Americans are not afforded good old boy treatment.
DeSoto County NAACP President Robert Tipton Jr. says his organization wants information on how the DeSoto County Sheriff's Department is treating people of color compared to others, adding it makes him wonder about the entire criminal justice process in DeSoto County.
We would like to look at their arrest data. What's going on there? How many blacks are getting arrested versus how many whites are getting arrested? Their ticketing. How many people of color are getting tickets. And
Tipton says an investigation is needed after DeSoto County Sheriff Bill Rasco admitted to Local 24 News he helped the son of an employee, despite an Intoxilyzer report saying the man blew .14 and a police report saying the 18-year-old was taken to jail and processed. The DeSoto County Sheriff's Department could not produce a mugshot or jail booking documents when Local 24 News filed a records request.
I mean, it tends to be that the smaller the county and the smaller the town, the more abuse there is.
Jessica Pishko is a lawyer and author who's done extensive research into sheriffs and their powers. Pishko says because sheriffs are elected, there's no check on their power, which she says could lead to potential abuse or misuse.
So it could be that they are exercising discretion to let people go who contribute to campaigns, who are friends and family, who are, quote, important community members. And that is unfortunately relatively common with sheriffs. So especially Southern sheriffs, because sheriffs can also hire and fire at will. If, let's say, there are people working there who object to his practice, he can simply fire them. So there's no sort of protection for people who object to what he's doing.
In this recent case, Rasco told Local 24 News, not only has he helped out this young man, he's helped many people with alcohol and drug problems. His chief deputy had this to say about his boss.
If he makes a mistake, it's from the kindness of his heart. It's not because there's some cover-up or some kind of hiding or something like that.
Tipton said an investigation could prove that, but at the moment, his assessment of the situation is this.
He interfered with the process. He became the judge, jury, and prosecutor.
In DeSoto County, Jenny DiPrizio, Local 24 News.
Hello, I'm Sheriff Susan Pomerleau. As a career U.S. Air Force officer, I saw how professionalism and productivity increased when people had fair and equitable assignment and promotion opportunities. But when I became sheriff of Bexar County, the good old boys were there, resisting change, throwing up roadblocks. At the sheriff's office, we've replaced that system with one based on merit and performance. Right is right, and fair is fair. We need to develop each person to their fullest potential to have the best people to protect us.
I'm South Carolina lawyer Eric Poston, and I'm here to expose how our legal system truly operates. When you file a lawsuit or are charged with a crime, it's not just you against the defendant or you against the prosecutor. It's you against an entire good old boy system of lawyers and judges who have been working together their entire careers and who will continue working together long after you're out of the picture. Unfortunately, this system includes nearly every lawyer in the state. For my first few years practicing, this system was all I knew, so I accepted it as the norm. But my philosophy changed when the system revealed its true oppressive nature. It recently came to the attention of several notable lawyers that I enjoy making hip-hop music in my free time. So, of course, they expelled me from the system and labeled me a degenerate who was unfit to fraternize with the good old boys. So I stand here today as a true outsider with the absolute conviction that it is my duty to fight the system for my clients.
Brett, putting that in the newspaper at all?
No, it's probably one of the best things I've ever done.
Bobby Smith doesn't care about criticism, and he's standing by his decision to put this ad in the Spencer Magnet. The Taylorsville Democrat is trying to upset Republican incumbent John Riley to take the Spencer County Judge Executive seat. Smith says Riley is part of a political culture that's kept the county from becoming progressive.
That ad says system, good old boy system. People don't understand what the good old boy system is.
What's your message to people who see this and it brings back awful feelings?
Well, it's probably because they want to see that. They don't want to see the good old boy system. They want to see me hating my kinfolk.
Oh my goodness, I didn't even know. That's bad.
We showed the ad, including the drawing of 4 bodies hanging from a tree, to Spencer County residents.
Well, I don't know. I don't think it's very good taste, really. I mean, it just seems like it's, just not necessary.
Well, he's getting attention, but not the good kind. I would not support anything like that.
The Kentucky Democratic Party released this statement calling the ad offensive and appalling. They're also calling on Smith to rescind it and apologize immediately.
Even though I feel like I've done nothing wrong, if they feel they deserve an apology, they have.
Jay Purcell exposed county officials abusing the public's trust for personal gain. What do the good old boys say to that?
We got to get rid of him. That was statements. We got to get rid of him.
Jay Purcell answers to the citizens, not the Good Old Boy Network.
I'm supposed to report back if you are even agreeable.
I laid it all on the line so that my family and yours could have a county government that works for all of us, not just the privileged few. I would appreciate your vote.
Bye-bye.
Look, see, he's smiling. See, he's having a good time. I love the old days, you know? You know what I hate? There's a guy totally disruptive, throwing punches. We're not allowed to punch back anymore. I love the old days. You know what they used to do to guys like that when they were in a place like this? They'd be carried out on a stretcher, folks. That's true. You know, I love our police, and I really respect our police, and they're not getting enough. They're not. But honestly, I hate to see that. Here's a guy throwing punches, nasty as hell, screaming and everything else when we're talking, and he's walking out, and we're not allowed, you know, the guards are very gentle with him. He's walking out like big high fives, smiling, laughing. Like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you.
It's a shocking moment as a Trump supporter cold cocks a protester. Boom! An elbow right to the face. Watch from a different angle. The protester never sees it coming. He's wrestled to the ground by deputies. The guy who smacked him goes right back to his seat.
Did you like the event?
You bet I liked it.
Yeah? What'd you like about it?
Knocking the hell out of that big mouth. We don't know who he is, but we know he's not acting like an American.
So you deserved it?
Every bit of it.
What was that?
Yes, he deserved it. The next time we see him, we might have to kill him.
78-year-old John McGraw was later charged with assault.
Been
that my granddad gave me. They say one day they're gonna round up. Well, that shit might fly in the city. Good luck, try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road. Around here we take care of our own. You cross that line, it won't take long for you to find out. I recommend you don't. Try that in a small town full of good old boys, raised up right. If you're looking for a fight, try that in a small town. Try that in a small town. Recommend you don't. Try that in a small town. Try that in a small town. Try that in a small town.
Florida police officers are off the job tonight following allegations they were in the Ku Klux Klan. These two officers served in the Fruitland Park Police Department until an FBI report identified them as secret members of the KKK.
An international FBI probe uncovered allegations linking the men to a local chapter of the Ku Klux Klan. A confidential source named Deputy Chief David Borst and Corporal George Honeywell as Klansmen. Borst resigned Friday. Honeywell was fired amid the allegations brought to their chief.
These are disturbing allegations, especially since this same issue came up in this same department 5 years ago. In 2009, a different officer had to resign after it emerged that he was in the KKK. That's him. They're in the Klan hood and striped shirt. And earlier this year, a local KKK leader actually bragged to a local TV station that they had members in positions of authority.
What you've seen is just the tip of the iceberg right now. We have police officers, paramedics, judges, you know, they're everywhere.
Klansmen, judges, and police officers? This warrants further investigation, especially since the KKK in Central Florida has a long, violent history.
Just a good old boy, never meaning no harm. Beats all you never saw, been in trouble with the law since the day they was born.
What the hell are you guys all dressed up for?
We're the good old boys.
You're the good old boys.